All right, we got Tyler Hanna here. You calling in from Pennsylvania, if I believe. What town of that in that state are you?
That's correct, man. Well, from Seneca, PA.
Seneca.
Small,
Okay.
small little town, about 900 people.
Yeah, you're on the that's the northern side of PA, right?
Yep, Northwest. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like right in between Erie and Pittsburgh is how I describe it to people. Just in the
Okay.
middle of nowhere.
All right. Yeah, that makes it's a good way to figure out where you're at, sort of in the Midwest, more north. But
Yeah.
no, I ran into you guys. First of all, H3 Game Calls is who you are. It's that time of the year. Spring is here and turkeys are already hitting the ground. I'm proud to announce the official Game Call sponsor of the Bullets and Broadheads podcast, H3 Game Calls. If you're looking to upgrade your setup before the season kicks off, check their website out. These guys are as real as it gets, passionate hunters building top-notch pot, box, and mouth calls designed to help you find success season after season. There's something different about using gear made by folks who truly live the lifestyle and who take pride in using U.S. manufactured materials. If you've got questions or want to learn more, reach out to Tyler Hanna directly through their website. He'd love to hear from you. And let me tell you, these calls not only look good, but they make a below average caller sound like a real turkey. You're the owner, whatever you call yourself, CEO.
Yes, sir. I'm the CEO. Yeah, there's three owners. Our last name's Hanna.
Okay.
So H3 is three Hannas are the owners. I'm the CEO, the founder of the
Oh,
company.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I ran into you guys in Indianapolis at the Indy Sport and boat show. But obviously you were in the hunting section and started to talk to you guys and saw if you were interested in joining this podcast and talking a little bit about what you do. And obviously down to earth guys, easy to talk to. So like, well, sounds like a good group to get on and talk about what you do and help promote your brand and get out there. Obviously you've been to different shows and stuff here this spring.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, King's Home Furnishings and Design in Jasper. From appliances and mattresses to custom cabinetry and home upgrades, King's helps you make your house feel like a home. Locally owned and backed by price matched guaranteed. Visit King's in Jasper or online at kingsofjasper.com. Give old Matt Stahl a call today and he will get you set up. Classic Custom Carts is your one-stop shop for everything golf carts. Check out their beautiful new showroom in Washington, Indiana, where you can find huge selections of new, refurbished, and fully customized carts. If you need financing, they've got great options available. There's something for everyone. Free delivery within 25 miles, classic custom carts, custom rides, massive selection, unbeatable deals. Get in today. United Excavating and General Contracting, founded in 2008, offers a wide range of services like soil stabilization, site work, earthwork, and utilities. Handle everything from erosion control and demolition to water and sewer system installations. Over 15 years experience and dedicated team, they've successfully completed projects for over 100 clients. For more details, visit their website or call them directly. Support local and shop smart at Hillcrest Feed and Supply in Montgomery. From quality livestock feed and pet supplies to farm and outdoor essentials, Hillcrest has what you need at prices you can trust. Stop by today and see why farmers and families across Daviess County rely on Hillcrest Feed and Supply. If you're from or traveling through Montgomery, Indiana, make sure you stop at Knepp's Amish Country Corner. From fresh baked goods and homemade treats to local meats, cheeses, and everyday essentials, Knepp's has a little bit of everything. Don't miss their weekly lunch specials. Stop in for a perfect, quick, delicious stop. That fish and brisket taco is unbeatable. Knepp's Amish Country Corner, worth the stop every time.
Where have you been so far here the last month or two?
Oh man, so we've been we kind of a little bit all over. Been Indiana, obviously, then a couple in PA here. We're down in Virginia not too long ago. Just making the circuit for the show world. So we
Yeah.
finally got that done out of the way, and we can focus on getting ready for turkey season here now. Finally,
Yeah, being at shows gets your name out there and gets you a little bit of face to face, but it also keeps you from being in the shop and making calls for people to
right?
buy.
Yeah, it definitely sets us back a little bit. That's why I feel bad every year. We try to have as quick turnover for our customers as possible. Get their calls out to them. On show season comes around, we might be gone 4 or 5 days, and we come back and we got 2 3 days before we go to another one. So we're trying to push, turn as many calls as we can as quick as we can and get them out to the customers. And but luckily everyone's real understanding, and we never had any issues. But yeah, we kind of burn the candle at both ends come this time of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's a small business. How many people do you have actually working with you?
So we have three, and then we have so we got three, and then we have 15 pro staff.
Okay.
that
Are,
help shoot content, do the shows for us, assist in any way they can. So
are they
um,
helping? Are they also helping build and make calls too, or no?
that's all me, my cousin, my dad. So the three of
Okay.
us, we every call that comes from us is built by us.
Okay.
So it doesn't touch any other hands. It's right in house here. So
Cool.
yeah.
So, give us a little bit of background of how you even got started, like
Yeah.
making calls. Like, have you always done it? How long you been in business? What prompted you to think, man, I'm going to start doing this full time? You do it full time, I assume now, right?
No, well, yes and no. So it's basically a full-time job, but we all still work full-time jobs also.
Okay.
And
Cool.
so I started this in 2021. Of course, we've always loved turkey, and that's been our passion. We like that more than deer, duck, or goose hunting. But
Mm-hmm.
um, so in 21, I've always wanted to make my own mouth calls, and finally, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to try to make some of my own. Bought a press and made a couple calls on my kitchen table. Next morning, gave my dad one, gave one for myself, and didn't we go out and we doubled up, killed a couple birds with them.
Nice.
And that was towards the tail end. My dad and I always take a week's vacation to hunt together in the spring, and um, I thought, I can't keep working for somebody else for a living when I
Yeah.
want to be out here doing this. So started out making calls, mouth calls. That was all I made for friends and family. Well, then it pretty soon became, well, hey, my buddy wants one, he'll buy it from you. Well,
Yeah.
my buddy, and it just started this snowball effect. And next thing you know, I have a history I owned a woodworking business before I did this. So I was no stranger to, working a lathe, turning things, so I was like, well, I'll start making pot calls and box calls.
Mm-hmm.
So, I couldn't keep up. And asked my dad and my cousin, I said, hey, I could really use some help. Would you guys like to be part owner? I'll give you guys each a stake in the business and come on board. And that's really how H3 was born in 2022,
Cool.
officially. So yeah, we just rolling into our fourth year of operation here.
Wow. Yeah. So you're pretty relatively new. Obviously,
Yep.
being a few years, there's a lot of guys have been doing it for a long time, but you're getting in and you were, jumped right in and,
Yeah,
and got going pretty quick.
that's just me. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to go, all in and full
Yeah.
force. And trying to, I'm sure we shook up the industry a little bit, which is what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, but we wanted to provide our calls are 100% made in the USA by us. We wanted to set a price point that anybody can afford. With a lifetime
Hmm.
warranty. If something happens to that call, someone's spending their hard-earned money on our call, we're going to stand behind it and replace it for them if something does go wrong, or we just want a quality product that sounds great and is less than what you have to pay from somebody else.
Yeah. And what the coolest thing is about like companies like you guys is it's normal hunters that are just like myself and everybody that I'm around and friends and buddies. It's like I would
Yep.
rather pay money, and even if it's more, for to know where it came from and supporting guys
Right.
like that. So yeah,
Right.
it's cool to know where it came from. No
I
doubt.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And I know I got you talk about woodworking. I did pick up one of these there at the sports show. I can show right here, but
Oh, yeah, you got one of the boxes.
yeah, nice, beautiful color.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Well,
it sounds great. Yeah, no, it's
thank you.
cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we try to pick some of the, again, with the history in woodworking, I love, nice looking wood grain. And
Right.
so we try to pick some of the woods that obviously have the best looking grain, that pop the nicest. You wouldn't believe the amount of calls I turn out that, one, I just don't like how they look, or two, just doesn't quite pass the sound test and they get tossed out.
It can.
So
Yeah.
yeah, when we send it out, we make sure it's as top quality as you can get.
That's good quality assurance there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously if you got three guys doing it,
yeah,
you
yeah.
nothing gets through the cracks.
No, and then my son likes to torture test everything, so if it can withstand up to him, we obviously are okay as far as durability goes.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah.
No doubt. So yeah, obviously your game calls is your name. H3 game calls. What other calls are you making besides mouth reads, pot calls, obviously box calls I just showed you. What else? What else are you guys making?
So we have a full waterfowl line. We make duck and goose calls. And then, obviously we're going to have a wood duck call this year, and we make grunt calls, predator calls, a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
that we can dabble in, that we actually hunt ourselves. So yeah,
Right.
it's everything from turkey, predator, deer, and waterfowl. We cover it all.
Nice. So are you guys making, do you have like a stock that in there of like your most common stuff, or are you making stuff as you go?
Both. So typically what I like to do is, on our website, when someone gets on there, we like to let the customer customize it as much as they can, right? Because the thing I hated before I started this was, if I wanted to go buy a pot call, usually had options of cherry, black walnut, and maybe one other one, and that's just what you got.
Yeah.
Well, when you order from us, you can get any type of pot we carry, any type of surface. You can completely customize your call. So we keep X amount of raw materials on hand for orders that come in through our site, which is kind of customized, tailored to the customer that they ordered for or that's ordering it. And then we have our like show inventory and dealer inventory side of things where we know what we're taking or what we're selling to those stores or to those shows, and we have that set aside. So we kind of do a little bit of both, which makes it tough for overhead, but in the long run, it helps with customer satisfaction.
Right. So, I mean, what can you explain the difference in the different woods and like why it matters as far as softer woods and
Yeah,
hardwoods and the surfaces even you can get into that too.
yeah. A lot of it is the denser the wood, the harder the wood, the different sounds it's going to have. It's going to be
Hmm.
typically like a Paduke that's a pretty dense wood, or a Purple Heart that's a dense wood. It's going to have a nice raspy, loud sound. Where you get into something like a black walnut or a maple, is going to have a little bit more of a softer, subtle sound. Then obviously your surfaces play into it, where your slates versus your crystal or glass is going to sound different. So really, always depending on what the customer is looking for. Do they want something loud, raspy, old hen? You want to go with something like a glass or a crystal. Or if you're wanting something softer, you can do some tree calling on, and then still get loud and raspy. Your slate or your ceramic's the way to go for that. And obviously, you have ceramic, which is a waterproof call, and so it took a lot of R&D and a lot of testing to match up, what works with what and what sounds good. So
Right. If a guy was going like just getting started, say he doesn't have any calls and he wants to get started again, what would be like your first call you'd recommend a guy to get?
if you're brand new to calling to turkey in general, the box call is going to be the easiest, most forgiving call you can get. It's real
Yeah.
easy to use, user friendly, and you can get loud, you can get soft with them, you can do your clucks and everything you need to. And that would be what I would recommend. And actually, we have a lot of that at these shows we go to. Hey, I've never turkey hunted before. What should we do? And I can give them a quick 5-minute tutorial of how to use a box call and what type of calls to do. And they can walk away calling on it pretty efficiently and
Yeah.
feel confident they can go out and at least call or work a bird in for the spring.
Yeah, and what's funny about a box call is, when you first kind of get going with them, it sounds like when you're really, yep, 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 doing that. It's like it sounds like what turkey is making that noise in the woods. And here was last year, a couple years ago, I finally had a hen that was just going nuts, and I'm like, that's exactly how this box call sounds because it's
Yep.
just yep, 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 yep,
Yep.
yep, 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 yep. It's like it sounds way more extreme than what you'd ever call, but it's like that is exactly what she's doing. And it is right after fly down, and there was a couple toms up there, some other hens and stuff, and she was just bop, 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 bop. I was like,
Yep.
it makes sense. That's a natural
Yeah,
sound.
I always say, like I always tell people when they're new to it, or you want to tell them, you want almost that like rusty gear sound, that yeah, 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 and that's you get that realistic hen sound from that.
Hmm.
If you don't have that, if you just sound flat, or it just isn't realistic, and they hear that 1,000 times a season from other hunters that don't try to, I guess, work on calling proficiency, and they get call shy to that. Does it work sometimes? Sure, but the
Yeah.
more natural and realistic you can sound, the better your chances are for sure.
Yeah, that's why it's like I try to watch as many like videos of just hens walking
Yep,
around and people
live
post on
hens.
YouTube. Yeah, because it's like, man, it's hard to mimic that. Obviously, it's hard to mimic
It is.
exactly how these stupid hens are walking around making all these.
Yeah.
Some guys are very, very good at it. I'm no expert by any
Yeah.
means.
And
I
I've heard
just,
some I've heard some hens out there that they sound terrible, like, oh, that's got to be a hunter. And next thing you know, here
yeah,
she comes, and I'm like, that is the worst sounding hen I've ever heard. But
that's
again, they all sound different. But yeah, some of them sound pretty bad.
Yeah, that's why when I was hearing that hen, like I couldn't even see her because we were down on the hill a little bit and she was up and over, and it was like, man, there's got to be another guy up there
Yep.
because he just yep, 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 and wouldn't
Yeah.
stop. And I was like, this
Yeah.
guy's going crazy. And it ended up being a hen because he ended up shooting the tom. So it was like, this
Yep.
is insane. But it was
It-
it was a cool learning experience for sure to know, like, yeah, they really do sound like that, and
yeah.
she wouldn't shut up. So.
Yeah. They're the best teachers. You listen to them, and they'll tell you everything you need to do for calling.
Yeah, 100%. So moving on to like after you doing a box call, would you say a slate call? Would you recommend
Yes.
that next? Probably over mouth calls. Mouth calls are probably the hardest. Would you
Yeah.
say?
Mouth calls is definitely the most difficult for someone that's learning to call. A slate call would be your next easiest.
Yep.
That's as soon as you can kind of get the dynamics of how to run the striker against the slate, how much pressure to put. and the different motions you have to make with the striker. That is definitely the next easiest
Yeah.
and most forgiving call besides the box call. So
Hmm.
those are usually what, we have our new hunters that come up or new turkey hunters. That's what they typically leave with is a box or a slate call.
Yeah. And so you're turning all those pots and the strikers yourself, obviously, right?
CNC them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with production if I was trying to hand turn them anymore. That's how it started out.
Yeah.
And shoot, man, the CNC is a lot more precise than I ever can be.
Yeah.
So yeah, we CNC them. But we try to get it like even as much of the material from PA, like all of our slate and glass come from Pennsylvania. It's manufactured in PA, and we purchase it from a PA manufacturer.
Cool.
So yeah, we try to keep it as local as we can, down to like all of our anything that needs printed. We use a local printing company. Yeah, we keep it as local as we can here at the business.
Yeah. No, that's good to hear. I'm sure all the other people around you appreciate that too.
Yeah, yeah,
Keeping it local, keeping it in your state and stuff. And I guess you probably got a laser engraver too. Is that what you're making all your
yes,
logos and stuff with?
yes, sir. Yeah, I yep have I run our laser engraver. Had to
Yeah.
learn that, which actually the learning curve wasn't too bad, but
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we laser engrave all of our calls. We do everything start to finish. So
Would people be allowed? Would they be able to get a customized engraver if like you wanted some like if the dad was trying to get his son his first car, like
oh,
to engrave their name and stuff like that,
yep, absolutely. Yeah, we do custom engraving all the time for
or
customers,
logos?
stores, everything. We actually just we met a really cool kid up at the Central P Outdoor Show. His name's CJ. We got the chance to meet him after my dad. My dad did a sermon on Sunday there. My dad's a
Hmm.
preacher, and so he
Yep.
preached, and we got to pray with this 15-year-old boy who's fighting cancer. And he started his own nonprofit called Uplifting Outdoors to help terminally ill kids go on hunts and things that they want to do. And so
Cool.
we actually said, hey, man, what can we do to help? And we're making them custom calls that they can sell and donate and do whatever for their banquets to help raise some money. So we're actually rolling some of their calls out here shortly. So,
Yeah, that's really neat. That's
yeah.
really neat. Will you be posting any about that on any of your
Oh, yeah.
social media stuff?
Yep. That'll all be on the social media platforms we have, and then we're actually heading to a banquet with them here in the coming months to take some of these calls to them today. My dad's speaking at and doing a little sermon there. So with
Nice.
these,
That's really cool. That's awesome for you guys.
thank you.
Yeah, and that kid, I mean, a 15-year-old kid starting that, going through that, I'm sure it's been a
He-
rough road for him, but to be able to, try to help other kids that are going through it
yeah,
and
one of the
yeah.
toughest kids I've ever met. Like mentally, just what he's going through. Then he's worried about everyone else. He's not even worried about
Hmm.
he's focused on growing this to where he can help people years and years and years from now. Send them on these hunts and to know the Lord and things. So he's doing some really
Yeah.
good things. He's an
Yeah,
awesome.
he's definitely creating a legacy for himself and for
Yeah,
others to follow his footsteps.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's an awesome kid.
That's really cool. That'd be cool to have him on to be able to talk
Yeah,
about what
I'll
he's
put you
doing.
I'll put you in contact with him. I'll get you his contact
Yeah.
information, and he's an awesome kid, awesome parents, great family. So very inspiring what they're doing, and there's still good people out there, which is nice to hear.
It is, and there's a lot of them in this industry. The
Yes.
hunting stuff, and I'm sure there's obviously bad apples in every group, but yeah, no,
Right.
there's a lot of good down to earth people that
Yep.
I'm sure you run into. And people stop and talk at shows and different
Yep.
things like that.
Yep. Absolutely. It's refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good to.
it makes it worth to keep going and doing what you're doing. I'm
It
sure.
is, yeah. We enjoy, like some people complain about show season things. We enjoy it because the amount of nice people and good people you get to meet and tell
Yeah.
stories with, and just like you stop by and we got to meet you and know you, and now
Hmm.
we're on the podcast with you. It's awesome
Yeah.
to have those
Hmm.
connections.
That's right. There needs to be more, encouragement and less
Yep.
competition with this stuff, dude. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Like, people, there's a lot of jealousy that goes along with it, and
that's terrible. Oh
if you're not
man.
killing something, you're a failure. And if you do it one way versus another, you're not good at it. And it's like, who gives a rat's? Like,
Oh
if
yeah,
you're out
it's
there doing it, do
right.
it. Like,
We're all supposed to be, together on this, because if we're
hmm,
not, they could easily, I don't say take it, limit us to what we're doing and things. But there's this, I feel like there's a lot of division still in the industry,
yeah,
especially in the waterfowl industry. That's a very, very tough industry, and they're a different type of mindset in that. But
Yeah, I'm not even in that stuff. I've been duck hunting one time. It's like, man, I don't know if I don't think I need another thing to
yeah,
get into in the wintertime, and it's a little
yeah,
bit pricey. It's like I better just focus on what we
yeah,
got going now, especially with two little girls. It's like that's
yeah.
probably need to wait on that maybe.
Yeah, you start doing that, the bill starts racking up pretty quick between decoys and calls and guns, and it
Yeah,
adds
and the
fast.
way ammo prices is going up too.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah. I think I just bought some more TSS a couple weeks ago. I paid it was $100. I called them and I was like, hey, this is what I need. And yep, $100. I'm like, I usually pay like 70. It
yeah.
jumps up that much this year. So
Yeah, tungsten's been I mean like the main suppliers like China, I believe. So it's like
yeah,
there's a lot of problems with the
yeah,
with the
yeah.
raw
And I hate
materials in that.
and yeah, I don't mind shooting lead, but TSS is so good. I hate
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm not trying to kill, and I don't take a shot at a bird over 40. That's my, that's where I cut it. But when
Yeah.
I shoot those birds with TSS, they're just stone cold dead.
Yeah.
I hate to see birds get rolled and get away and things. So I shoot it
Hmm.
just for the fact that when I know it hits them, they're done.
Yeah.
And
Why not shoot the best at something that
right,
you're shooting one time? I mean, okay, yeah, I might have two birds stayed or go to other states, but you're shooting once a year. Like you can
right,
practice target, sight your gun with other,
right. I
bird
mean,
shot.
I could
But
spend $100 a lot worse ways is how I look at. Like my
yeah,
gun. I especially the shells I use. I have them patterned in where I know exactly what they're going to do at what distance, and that's I just feel comfortable shooting them, and I feel that's the most ethical to the turkeys that we pursue
yeah.
is use those to clean, quick harvest. So
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, we'll move on to back to the calls and mouth calls.
yeah.
How many different combinations of reeds and cuts are you running? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so we offer 8 different cuts. Most of our mouth calls are triple reads. We do have some double reads. We will do single reads if somebody requests it. That has to. We don't advertise that we sell
I was gonna
singles.
say, can you even make a sound very good without sound like a dying rabbit?
Me, not really. No, no. Some guys like them, and just
Yeah.
like some guys like a straight double read, and we don't typically carry those unless someone requests it. But so we do. Our main core is 8 different cut variations. That tries to kind of give us a broad range of sounds between tone, rasp, uh, ease of use,
Yeah.
essentially. So, and everyone's different. Everybody likes different cuts. We tried to tailor it as much as we could to make sure we had a cut that fit everybody.
Can you explain what you mean by single, double, triple read for people who have no idea? Just explain what that means and like where you're making cuts and what read, whether it's a double or
Yeah.
triple, and how it works.
So typically, like a double and triple read give you a lot more of the rasp, the ease of use. Like it depends on how much air pressure you move. Like I use a lot of air pressure, no matter if I'm duck and goose calling, turkey calling. So like I run a triple read because the more reads you have, it's usually typically the more air pressure you blow. And what we get a lot of is when customers come up at the booth and they're saying like, "Hey, I'm new to mouth calling," or "I'm in for market for new mouth call." The first thing I ask them is, how do you blow air out of your mouth? Do you blow air out of the center, the right, or left side? And most people are like, oh, I don't know. And that's what makes the world difference, because if you blow air out the left side of your mouth, but you got a cut or a mouth call that's a cut on the right side, it ain't going to sound good for you. That air's got to move over those reeds to flutter it and flutter over that cut to make the noise you need. So that's the most important thing, is knowing how do you blow air out of your mouth to hit that cut.
Is there a way for people to learn that or how to figure that out? What's going to work better for them? Do you have any recommendations for guys that are trying to get started with mouth call?
So best thing to do is buy a couple, buy 2 or 3 different ones. And what I always recommend when someone comes up to us and they call us and have a question, hey, what do you think I should get? I always recommend a V cut for one. If you're brand new to mouth calling, a V cut's the most easy to run, forgiven to run. It's simple. And
Yeah.
once you start with that, you can kind of start going. So I'll usually say, hey, if you're going to buy 3, get a center cut, get a combo cut that's cut on our left side, and get a bat wing that's cut on both left and right. And that way you're going to be able to get at least a decent idea of what sounds the best. Then after that, we can fine tune the cut for you after you figure out which way you're blowing air out of your mouth.
Have you got some laying there around you?
I do not.
Okay, that's all
I'm
right.
sorry.
I'll put some up on the
Okay,
screen
I'm sorry. I should have
later.
brought a couple in with me here.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
So,
I'll put what those up so people can visualize what you're talking about.
yeah.
But so you got V cut, bat wing, center cut. You said you have 8. What are the
Yeah.
other combinations,
Yeah.
or what do you call them?
So we've got our combo cut, our renegade cut, which a renegade that's something new for us this year. It's basically like a combo cut with a V cut added into it. We actually have multiple different bat wing cuts. We actually the bat wings we use a couple different thicknesses in latex. So the one bat wing, if you want to sound like a raspy old hen and you want rasp, that's for you. Other bat wing we use a little bit thinner of a reed, a latex, and it's a little bit more subtle, a little more. You can get soft, you can get loud, but it's a little bit more versatile. Then we have what's called our Phoenix, which is a bat wing with a center snake tongue cut in it. We have a snake tongue. We have a Maverick cut, which is enhanced. But we have, like I said, we may even have more than 8. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
now that
Uh-huh.
I'm running through them. But yeah, they're it's mouth calls are kind of a lot of trial and error, and
Right. Well,
we'll
that's what I'm how many different thicknesses of latex can you buy?
Man, there's 3 like real popular thicknesses that we use. I won't give away all of our secrets because it's pretty easy
Okay,
for
yeah.
some to run out there and I
Gotcha.
think
So
it,
so that's what I was gonna say before you keep going. Like, are there? It's almost like a secret recipe. You know what I
you're
mean.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
you have your own kind of combination of thicknesses and
right.
maybe the tension on the
Yeah,
reeds.
yeah. So that all comes into play: the thickness, the tension, the cut, how many reeds you're using. All that comes into play. And we've kind of, after a few years of R&D and just
Yeah.
wasting a ton of material, we've kind of got ours dialed into what we think is what's right for us and what we like. So
That's what I was always wondering, like what the difference is really between like how I mean now, but when you think about like getting down into the real nitty gritty stuff, the thickness of the latex is the layers, combining different thicknesses maybe
yep.
based on the top, middle, or bottom, or
Yeah,
the top or bottom for a double,
yeah,
combining it with the cuts,
yeah,
like there.
yeah. And it could be this cut might sound terrible with 3 reads, but it might sound good with 2. It's almost I equivalent to kind of like TSS guys that roll their own TSS. That recipe you come up with, it's dialed in for what works. Exactly right for you. So it took us a while to kind of get all of our numbers essentially, if you know what I mean, right, as far as
Hmm.
tension and reed thickness and everything like that. So it's a little bit of a trial and error for sure.
Yeah. How do you figure out like tensions on reeds? How
That
do
was
you
all
figure that out?
just a lot of trial and
I
error.
I guess you say when you're making them, how do you know? Is there a machine? Is there a
It,
tool?
it's a machine, so it's a machine. It's got a gauge on it, so I know
Okay,
exactly what tension I'm pulling on that reed every time I make one. So
gotcha.
because once you figure your tension out, you know to set it to this, and that tension is going to pull the same area. Because consistency is the biggest thing with mouth calls, and it's still hard to get everyone exact. Even though that I might have that stretch pulled exactly the same, something could go different as when I'm folding that frame over anything like that might just change a little bit. So it's very hard. You can get really close to 100% same mouth call every time, but even still, it's
Yeah.
not gonna get that consistency every time.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
same with precision
yeah,
shooters,
yeah,
ammo. You
yeah.
try to go
Oh
lot
yeah,
to lot, shot to shot, but it's
yeah,
impossible to be
yeah,
exact
yeah.
same every single time.
If you're 1 grain over, that 1 grain might be just a touch different than another grain. It's the same exact thing. So, but
Yeah.
we try to make it as foolproof as we can, as far as we have all of our we know exactly what we need to do as far as our stretch, our reed thicknesses, how many we have all that, that is basically our recipe for our mouth calls, and that's what we roll with.
Cool.
So
So
yeah.
you kind of got your own, you got your kind of set stuff. Are you still experimenting, looking for newer,
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
combinations? You still play around with it quite a bit?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're looking for we've got a new one that we released, 3 new mouth calls this year, so we decided not we got to keep something for next year too. So we've
Yeah.
already got a few more on the table for next year, some really cool cut variations that we've never really seen anyone else do before, but we think it's going to be a hit with our customer base.
Yeah.
So we're going to run them a little bit this season, put them through their paces, and make sure it's ready to go before for next turkey season. So
Cool.
always trying to innovate and
Yeah. Yeah.
have new
You got to
products
stay up.
released. Yeah, you
Yep.
can't just have the same thing year after year, no matter how great it is. So
Right.
yeah.
So, based on your calls, what do you recommend? Okay, during the day, during the turkey hunt day, you get out there, set up at dark. Turkeys are gobbling. They're under the roost. What kind of call? What kind of mouth call combination are you trying to start with? Being soft, like, hey,
I'm,
I'm a hen, I'm here.
yeah,
What are
I'm
you using
running.
there?
So the two out of our calls that I would use with that would be either our ghost cut, which is my favorite for tree calling, or what's called our maverick cut, which is basically a widened V cut. And so the reason I like the ghost cut is I can do really nice clear bubble clucks, tree yelps, to purring to whines, which I added into my mouth call arsenal last year, and that makes a huge difference. If you haven't learned how to whine on a mouth call, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah,
So that's my go-to tree calling uh mouth call. Now if I know where that bird's at, I got him pegged. I know I roosted him late before, and I'm gonna try to get within 100 yards of him off the limb. I don't like to usually get any closer than that. I'm probably going to
yeah,
have my Maverick call my enhanced or widened V cut in, because when he hits the ground, he's going to be somewhere close to me, and I don't want to have to be trying to switch calls out, because that call
yeah,
I can go loud and raspy, and I can get soft and still do my whines and bubble clucks and things, just not as good as the ghost cut. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
so
you starting out with the ghost, right? So
yep, yep.
say okay, he's gone. You start to get closer to later in the morning. You're trying to get loud. What are you recommending then?
I'm running our Maverick cut, our enhanced
The
V cut.
Maverick. Yeah,
Yeah, yep. It's a yellow tape purple top reed that's cut with the V cut. That call just it does it all, and that's our best seller too. Everyone seems to love that call. It really runs good. So that's
cool.
that's my go to. Yeah,
The Maverick. Okay,
yeah,
we'll note that down.
yeah.
So, are you selling? Obviously, you sell just individual. You sell packs. You
We
kind of
sell
like the
This was our first year actually selling a pack. We called it our Riot Pack. So we had a lot of requests last year for something louder and more raspy, and so we came out with the Renegade. We called it's a Batwing variation. It's a Batwing, just different thicknesses of reed. We called our Fuse, and then our Phoenix, which is a Batwing with a straight snake tongue cut in the middle. And we call that a Riot Pack. If you want to be raspy and loud and try to locate birds, and so that was our first pack that we offered, um, was this year. So it comes in a 3 pack. Other than that, you can order them, individually as well.
yeah. I
So
feel like ordering a pack's always good for me because you can kind of
yeah,
try both, see
yeah,
see what's sounding better. And if you need to switch them out, if you think one sounds better for you,
yeah.
softer or
It,
louder, it's you
it,
don't have to order again and then again and wait a
Right.
week or whatever.
Wasting
So
wasting shipping. And next year
yeah,
we'll have more packs. It's taken us a while to figure out what pairs good and what runs better together. So, we'll probably put like a ghost cut and a maverick combo together, where if a guys want something for tree calling, then after fly down, they'll have something. So
yeah.
yeah.
What do you think the biggest mistake in calling turkeys is? As a call manufacturer, you want people to call all the time.
Right, right.
But what do you think the biggest mistake is in calling early in the morning? Over
Oh,
calling, too loud?
too loud, 100% too loud. If you've ever listened to a hen on the limb, they are almost so quiet
Yeah,
sometimes that even when you're only, everyone's done it. We get in there a little too tight and you're only 45, 50 yards from them. You can barely hear them. That's how soft they're calling. But those gobblers, they can hear that.
yeah,
And so something I really had to change in my tree calling was how quiet I was calling, to the point where you almost don't understand how they can even hear it.
right.
And
And even when it's windy, it's like they can still
yep,
their ears are so good with that. It's
yep,
crazy.
they pick it in.
Sometimes, yeah, there's
And
a lot of guys that don't even like to call at all. I know I've seen them like just because of how finicky it can be, but
yeah, I love calling someone limb. I feel like that's your best chance to kill one off the roost like that.
yeah,
Once I know he's facing me and he's eating it up, I typically shut up, because you can overcall to him on the limb a lot too, very
yeah,
easily. So if I'm competing with other hens that are on the limb and I know he's kind of, obviously there's a lot of tips and tricks you can do, but I want to make that gobbler think that I'm on the ground first. So, if it's starting out soft and, finally I hit my fly down cackle and hit a wing, and I want him to know that, hey, I'm on the ground and come find me first, is what
yeah.
I'm looking to do. So, yeah. And
And,
that's
and
just, that's
go
just
ahead.
getting out there. That's just getting out there and trying it and failing and messing up and learning from
Yeah.
the experiences. Yeah.
And the thing is, basically, you can go from bird to bird depending on their demeanor and time of the year and the season. It's like one day it may work perfect, and another it may go off, and you
Yeah.
can't do
Yeah.
anything about it.
Yeah, you just don't know. It's once you've hunted turkey hunt enough and you learn how to read a bird and know what he's thinking or know what he's doing, your odds go way up. But even then, you still don't know what's going to come out of left field and happen that's not going to allow you to get that bird in the gun range.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Heck, a coyote runs by you and he
yeah,
sees that and he's going the
yeah.
other way. You can't control a lot of things, but
About 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, I was working this bird right off the limb. He flies down, he's coming, and I can see him. He's 60, 70 yards. I mean, he's coming right to me. This one hen that was in the tree to my right, all of a sudden, she starts tree hopping. She's flying tree to tree, flew right to him, flew straight down to him, and then took him right away from me. So
wow.
something like that, you just don't know. I've never seen a hen do that before.
No. Did you
Yeah.
have decoys out too?
Yeah. Now I don't use decoys. I don't think they're bad. I don't have any issues with
Yep.
people. Just personally, I mean, I've used them in the past. I got to a point about 6, 7, 8 years ago, that I just said, you know what? I've killed enough of them with decoys. I just want to yelp them up. So,
Yeah.
and honestly, I've
Oh yeah.
become a better hunter doing that because I've learned how to be a better woodsman, how to set
Yep.
up better, how to call better. I kind of took the reliance of the decoys off of me to where it forced me to be a better turkey hunter.
Yeah, dude,
So,
I had it last year. There was this old Tom that I mean I went after him 4 different times because he's right by my house. I tried reaping him. I tried setting up with him with a decoy. I tried calling him in the woods because he'd go out in the field with 3 or 4 hens by himself every time. It
yeah,
was like he was a big old like dominant bird. And there was never any Tom, no other Toms with him ever. Just him and those 3 or 4 hens.
yeah.
And I was like, this thing is about to drive me nuts. And it
Me
got
too.
to like the second weekend of the season, and he was out there on like a Sunday morning after I took a youth kid, and I was like, he left with his. I was like, buddy, I got to go after this thing. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
have
got
to
to
go
go get
after it.
him.
And this one wasn't like I didn't call one time. I went through the back side of the woods and I crawled through a creek. I crawled through the mud and I like snuck up in there and like I knew where he was coming back in the woods. And I set up in there and he started working his way in there. And I just like, I don't even care if I didn't call him. I didn't do anything. It took no skill other than basically sneaking in and being as
Yeah. Well,
quiet.
some
It was a
woodsman.
blast.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so much fun. Yeah.
It was so fun. And it
Yeah.
was like the fourth time, it's the fourth different thing I tried. And it's like, this thing is not, he doesn't want to respond to any calls. He doesn't want to, go to a decoy. He doesn't want to fight this other, fan
Yeah.
that I tried. It's like, he didn't care. Like, he had
Yeah.
his hens and that's all he cared about.
Yeah.
And
And he
yeah.
finally, yeah, you finally figure out how to kill him though. And sometimes that's just what you
Yeah.
got to do. It's not, it's what I would say. It's not always pretty.
Oh,
And sometimes how you get them, it's not always pretty. That's for sure.
no, it was not. But and I was by myself, which kind of sucks. I wish somebody was there with me because it was a
Yeah.
blast.
Boom, 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 boom. The Joker's
I
down.
was
Yeah.
actually there was a buddy of mine was on the road, like the county road next to the field, and he seen him out there strutting with the hens, and because he knew I hunted right there, and he called me. He's like, "Hey," or first he called and I didn't answer, and then
Yeah.
he texted. He said, "Hey, are you at church or are you at home?" And I was like, "Well." I seen the tail. I'm like, no, I'm out here. I see the turkey and I see you. I was like, get out of here. You
Yeah. I'm
better
trying to
run
do
off.
something here.
Yeah. And he drove off like 30
Yeah.
seconds later. He finally worked his way in and I, rolled him over. And it was like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
yes, dude.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I sent him a picture. I'm like, dude, you won't believe what has happened. But
And those are the most memorable hunts, right? When you do something
yeah,
like that, where when it goes textbook and it works exactly how it should, like, yeah, that's fun and stuff. But the
yeah.
ones that you really got to work for and get after, those ones you are the ones that are really memorable.
Yeah, it was a blast. That's probably one of my favorite, other than taking a youth kid and sneaking out into a field with an 8-year-old kid to my
Yeah.
side with a fan up. Like three
Yeah.
toms came running at us and got like
Oh,
10 feet from us, and I was
that's
like,
pretty awesome. And talk about what a way to hook a kid too, like to see that
oh
your first
yeah.
hunt. Yeah.
I was like, and it kind of was bad because they were all together. Sorry, and he'd never shot one before, and I was like, you
Oh, that's
have to
awesome.
wait until they like I'm like talking to him like this, and they're right
Yeah.
in front. I'm like, wait until they separate. Like, you don't want to shoot all three of them.
We don't want to do that for your first hunt.
No, I don't want to have to call the game board and explain what
Right.
happened. I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
but
Oh
yeah,
man.
he smoked him, and it was like I was so jacked up. I was way more excited than he was,
Oh
for
yeah, it's almost
sure.
fun. You get to a point where it's almost fun watching other people shoot them,
Yeah,
besides yourself. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you got. What's your earliest turkey hunt memory that you have?
Oh man, I remember the first turkey I killed. So in PA, when I started hunting, you couldn't hunt till you're 12.
Yeah,
And
okay, yeah, I've heard that.
yep. So I turned 12, and my uncle and my dad took me to public land, and we walk back this big long road on this public land piece. Get back there. It's kind of overcast, a little bit rainy, And my dad had even said like, "Hey, don't get your hopes up. Like, it's not a turkey type morning, right?" And so we
Yeah.
get back there, and we owl hooting things, and we can't get anything to gobble. And so it's pretty daylight, and it's pretty daylight. And sorry about that.
That's all right.
And all of a sudden, my uncle is sitting, about 50 yards from us for whatever reason. I don't know why. And he yells, "Hey, get over here!" He's like, "There's a bird gobbling." Somehow, so we run over to him. Somehow, we walk by this bird without bumping him off the limb. He never talked till he hit the ground. So my dad and my uncle get me positioned, and they both start calling. And I'll never forget it, plain as day. This turkey is running down this logging road, and his head is as white can be. Right down the road. He's probably like 25, 30 yards. My dad's like, "Put it right on the neck and squeeze that trigger." He hit the opening up, boom, I hammered him, and he hits the ground. Obviously we're jumping up, everyone's excited. My poor
Yeah.
uncle, I didn't realize he was on the wrong side of the tree. He didn't see anything.
Ah, shoot.
And but it was an awesome hunt. I'll never forget it. That was
Yeah.
my first, and my dad and my uncle both look at me and say, don't think this is going to happen every time you go turkey hunting. It doesn't
I
usually only
know.
take 5 minutes and they run into you. And
Yeah.
that's
Why
that
is it
was my
always the kids like first time when something awesome
yeah
happens?
yeah.
It
I mean,
always seems like that.
but man, it hooked me. And I was a little when I was 12. I was a little bit timid of. Hold on, buddy. I was a little timid of the 12 gauge. She
Yeah.
kicked pretty good,
Yeah.
and I told my dad, I'm like, could you only put the 2 3/4 inch shells in there? I wasn't a very big kid, back
Yeah.
then, and he's like, yeah. Well, walk in the dark. I didn't see what shells he was slipping in there. Of course,
Yeah.
he puts the 3.5s in, and I never even knew the difference.
Oh
So
no. Once you
yeah,
got an animal in front of
yeah.
you, yeah, that goes out the
So
window for sure.
it was funny. I got a little black and blue, and I'm pretty sure my mom yelled at him for it. But we got the turkey, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is worth
Yeah.
the lashing out, yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Yeah. That was my first turkey hunting, first turkey memory, and man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So
And then you try to chase that feeling, for the rest of your life. You're always looking
oh
for
yeah.
that.
Yeah, there's nothing better than it, And then I feel like I'm still chasing that. You just don't.
Yep.
It just can't get any better.
Yeah. Now you got
So
little one boy. I don't know how many kids you
yeah,
got, but
I
yeah.
just got one. Can you say hi, Rhett? Hi.
All right,
So
buddy.
yeah, so he's already been archery hunting with me and stuff. I take him out and let him crawl in a blind, and but he'll be turkey hunting in probably a year or two. When he hits, I think 6. Well, I might take him out next year, maybe try to let him come along with me.
Yep.
But well, it's the way we turkey hunt. We run and gun, and we're putting a lot of miles on. We hunt a lot of public land,
Yeah.
and so he's just a little too young for that still. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard for the little ones.
yeah,
My little girl, she's 3, and I'm trying to get her in a blind maybe one time just to go. Like I took her deer
yeah,
hunting in a blind with a
yep,
bow, like in our woods, like not hardly any chance something was gonna come by, but
yeah.
it's fun to get her out there and let her, watch a little movie for a little bit and then
Oh yeah.
watch coons and
Yeah,
squirrels and all the
watch
stuff like that.
some deer and hang out, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
he loves it. He came and helped me track my buck this year. I shot, and he's always excited to be out in the woods with me. Can you show him how you out hoot, Rhett? So, so him and I we go listen for turkeys just about every night together, and so
yeah.
we're trying to raise them up right.
That's what it's
Yeah,
all about right there.
yeah,
Yeah. Getting the
yeah,
next generation ready. That's for
exactly. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I don't know child labor laws, but he loves the sandbox calls and striker tops.
There
He,
you go. Get him on the payroll.
yeah. Do you like making turkey calls? Yeah. Yeah, he loves to
That's
sit there
good.
and me. So yeah, he has a blast with it. This is the reason why I started H3 was a legacy to pass on to him and my
It's a family
cousins.
business. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And someday they're gonna run it and take it over and hopefully make it better than we ever did. Oh, buddy. So
Before we let you go, I'll give me
yeah,
one good tip for hunters this year to be more successful. Give us one good tip how to increase the odds with one tip that
man,
you have.
the best tip I can ever give anybody, and I tell everybody this, is put time in scouting. Get out there before season comes in. Go out every night trying to put birds to bed. Listen where they're at. Try to get as many spots as you can. If you put the time in and find the birds, your chances go up tremendously.
Yeah.
If you waste a whole season where you just see birds in a field every now and then, your chances of killing one's pretty slim. But just get out there, start listening, a few weeks before season comes in, locate birds and get after them. That's the best tip I can give anybody as far as a general, just easiest tip
Yeah.
to someone to help kill more birds.
Right. Yeah.
So,
If you're trying to set up, one more question I'll give you.
oh
How
yeah,
what's the preferred closeness? You got a tom or two roosted, you put them to bed the night before. How close are you getting to them? I guess
I
it probably
live
depends on the terrain. Okay, say they're in the woods,
yes.
middle of the hardwoods.
Yeah.
How
So
close are you getting?
yeah, so typically around here we don't have a lot of field or farm country. It's basically all hardwood, standing timber. And a lot of it is depending on terrain and where they're at on the ridge, or if I think they're going to pitch into this ridge. But I like to be ideally 100 yards. I don't
Hmm.
really typically care to be, any closer. If I'm any closer than 100 yards from that bird, I don't even call to them till they hit the ground. There's too good of a chance they're going to see you and know a hen's not there, and they're going to fly the other direction as soon as they hit the ground. So typically 100 to 125 yards where I can call and work that bird, get him face me, he pitches to me, and hopefully in a few minutes he's right in gun range and we kill him. But
Yeah.
yeah, typically 100 yards is where I like to be, no closer. You start getting to that 70, 80 yard range, you're pretty tight and you're kind of locked down till they hit the ground. Then if they fly away from you, you're not even in the game whatsoever. You got to try to make a move early in the morning.
Yeah.
So
I've
yeah.
definitely been underneath of them on accident, not knowing exactly where they were
Oh
at.
yeah, yeah.
And you get in
Sometimes
there and it's like, oh crap, like
right when
they're
you hear
right
them,
there.
yeah, they're like drumming. You're like, oh man, I can't believe I'm this close.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've all done it. And sometimes that works out. Sometimes it's okay. But
Hmm.
I found, in my younger days, when I was a little more aggressive, I was like, I want to try to get as close to them as I can in the dark and get set up. And that never panned out for me. I get 100 yards. I get it. I'm far enough away where I can tree call to them and call to them, and it just puts your odds up much, much more.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
fun to be underneath of them, but yeah, as far as being successful, most of the time it's
yeah,
probably not a great game plan. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, we could talk stories all the time.
Oh
We'll
man,
definitely
yeah,
have you back on, and maybe
yeah.
some
I'd
of your
love
other
to.
guys, some of your
I apologize.
staffers. And
Somebody came and I wouldn't say interrupted, but joined the podcast.
yeah, no, we'd love
Partway
to have
through.
him. Love to have him. I
So
where can people find your website, your social medias? Where can they check you out at and get
yep.
some orders on the way?
So we have a website, www.h3gamecalls.com. And then we're on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They can find us on there with links right to our website. They can go on and get any call they need. And if they, my personal number is linked to the website, to the social media pages. So when someone calls, you get to talk to me.
Yeah,
You
cool.
have questions, concerns, you need something answered. I'm the guy you're going to get a hold of. So
Yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
rare in getting to talk to the man in charge from straight from the website
Yeah,
without having to click a 1 and a 2 and a 3 to
yeah.
get to this guy. And
Well, we,
yeah,
in the technology age, and we're not tech savvy guys by any means, but we use what we have to, and we want to make sure when you call, you get somebody that knows what they're doing, and we want the best customer service we can have because ultimately, again, if someone's going to spend their money on our product, we want to make it the best experience the whole way around for them from
yeah,
start to finish. So,
yeah, and that just creates repeat customers. So
yeah, and we just want to take care of our customers and just make sure we do the brand right, and that your brand's everything. If you don't have a name or you don't have a good name, you ain't gonna go anywhere. So we
yeah,
want to make sure that our brand is known for loyalty and customer satisfaction, durability, quality, all the above. So
100%. Yeah,
yeah,
well, we're definitely gonna be running the H3 game calls down here in Southern Indiana this
awesome,
this
man.
spring.
I
So
appreciate it.
we'll
Looking
be
forward to some pictures.
yeah, we'll be posting. I'll be sharing this obviously and some different clips from it and
Yeah,
tagging you guys in it. And I'll link your website and different stuff like that
awesome,
throughout this spring. So yeah, I know I've already talked to some people that are interested in getting some. So
awesome,
yeah,
man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, not a problem. I hope you guys have a good rest of spring and get caught up making your stuff
Thank you.
and
Appreciate
get
it.
get the customers all set up and ready to go because there's seasons that are starting. I know there's youth kid in Illinois killing this
Oh,
weekend.
oh
So
man,
and
yeah,
Alabama and everywhere else.
we've been shipping calls down south for the past. I don't. We've been getting a bunch of Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. We've been sending calls down there for a month already.
Yep.
And we
Yeah.
just sent some out to the South Dakota, Montana. we're kind of sending them all over right now. As season rolls in, it's funny that the orders start rolling in at different
Yeah.
states, and where we get to send them to is pretty humbling.
Oh, I
So
imagine. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to have a map up where all they're going and stuff.
I keep track of, it'd be cool someday to hit all 49 states where there's turkeys, and obviously that we sell calls to, and we're getting close. We're
Yeah,
getting real
no,
close
that'd
to,
be really neat. That'd be really
yeah,
neat. We'll
very
be
close.
running them out to South Dakota and the Black Hills too. So
Awesome, awesome.
hopefully
I
that works out.
hope to see some Merriams fall from them.
Yeah,
So
that'll
yeah,
be. It should be a good time. Should be fun. So, but yeah,
awesome,
I
great.
appreciate you calling on, Tyler, and wish you good
Thank,
luck this spring and
thank
with everything you're involved in and hopefully lots of turkeys are going down with these calls.
I appreciate, man. Thank you for having us on. I'd love to be on again. And
Yeah,
but we just think it's great what you're doing with the podcast and things. It's awesome. We're sure happy you stopped by the booth in Indianapolis and
yeah,
yeah, got a chance to meet you.
yeah,
So,
man. It was definitely good to meet you guys and wish you good luck and we'll talk to you soon for sure.
all right, buddy. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Good luck this spring. Thank you.
thanks, Tyler.